Alright guys, welcome back to the third video. In this one we're going to be doing the roof plan. So let's just get right into it. I want this video to be short. So alright, let me just think how I'm gonna do it. Okay. I'm contemplating if I want to do this the full way, as in draw the thickness of each of the rafters. I think I'll do it just doing one line, but then you could just use the multi-line tool, or you can offset it either way to do the roof. When you're doing these, if you're following along, and please do follow along, when you're doing these, make sure that you complete your drawings. I am not going to complete everything. At this point you should know how to. It's just a quick refresher. Alright, so first things first, let me turn off these layers, dimensions. Yeah, I want to leave just the roof and the walls. So text, leave the walls, leave the roof, everything else can get turned off, like so. So what I want to copy is, I want to make a copy like that, and I want to put this across here like so. Alright, and then I just want to turn back on all my layers right away. The reason why I like to turn on my layers, because sometimes you're doing work and layers, and something might be in the place that you are working on, and then you turn them back on, and then you see things are overlapping and messing up your whole drawing, and then you're trying to move things about. Just turn them on so you know exactly what's going on from the beginning. Alright, so here's what we're doing. This frame, this roof frame outline is what we're going to be using to do the roof framing drawing layout. This building on the inside, we don't need all these walls. Alright, so I'm going to delete them. The only thing we actually need is the very external line. Alright, we don't need the internal ones. Some people leave both lines. You have seen me leave both lines before, but this is all we really need. This is our building line. Okay, so if there was a porch sticking out there and all of that, you would leave the line for the porch. Yes, the most exterior line. Alright, and we have this. So the next thing that we need, let me just, I think I created a rafter layer. Okay, there it is. So what we would basically do, okay, let me do it both ways first. Let me do it both ways. I'll do it one way, and then I would show you the other way. Okay, so here we have the roof frame on my rafter layer. I'm just going to use a single line to frame out the rafters. So we can see here, this is our this is our ridge. Okay, and then I'm just going to carry this down here like so, frame out the main components of the roof, the ridge, the hip, rafters, and even this going around here is our fascia board. It goes all the way around the building. Okay, so yeah, only on the roof, only on the floor plan is the roof frame going to be using hidden lines, but for the roof plan is actually going to be solid lines. Okay, because you're looking directly at the wood. All right, so all we need to do is just from from the intersecting members where the ridge meets the hip and so on. We want to draw in our common raft. First common rafter here. We want to draw in this one there. We want to draw this one here, and so on. Now there are easier ways that I can do this, but I'm essentially just gonna do the whole thing because I can do one side and then mirror it over and all that kind of stuff. But if your roof is not symmetrical and all that, it might not be applicable. So I'm just gonna show you step by step how we do it. So I want to make a copy of this here, put it there like so, and I can even use the extend tool and extend this all the way down to that line. All right, so line tool, bring this out. All right, so now I'm gonna just use the copy tool, select this, and then I'm gonna copy this. Now the distance apart is 600 millimeters from center to center. Since I'm not showing the thickness of the rafters, I'm just going to go 600 apart, like so. Escape, and then I can select it again, copy, and as my base point, I'm going to select the one before so that I can just click here and it will keep moving it forward to the next one and so on. Alright, so instead of going all the way across, what I recommend people doing is doing the same thing from the opposite side, and work your way inwards. And the reason for this is that if you don't, well, let me delete this one, and then I'm going to make a copy of this base point there and work my way in. The reason for doing it like this is that if the roof is not exactly there are times when the rafters would not be evenly spaced. Okay, so I rather that my rafters that are not evenly spaced be placed somewhere in the middle here. So they should be 600 millimeters apart. But if I measure this distance in between here, I will notice this is 700 millimeters. Okay, so it's really, so you know, if I went across 600, 600, 600, 600, 600, the next line might have landed me right here, right next to this one, which doesn't look too nice to me. So I rather walk my way in from both ends, and then wherever they meet in the middle, that's fine with me. All right, so let me just extend these down like so. And if needs be, you can put an extra one in here. Having more strength or more reinforcement in the roof is not a bad thing. You might waste material, but it's not a bad thing in the sense of structure and strength. All right, so let me make a copy again of this line, and I'm gonna do this like so, so, so. All right, and then we're gonna just trim away this, and that. All right, line tool, bring it across like that, enter, enter, bring it across like that, enter, enter. So this is what I was telling you about, the easier ways to do this. So I want all of these lines. This roof is symmetrical, so I can just mirror all of this down here. So select the things I want to mirror. I don't need this line to be duplicated, so I didn't select it, neither this one because it's already here. So I just use the mirror tool and I use here as my mirror line, and then it created that. Do I want to erase the source? No. So I keep both of them. And we can do the same thing. We can select oh no, we don't want that one. We can select these lines like so, and use the mirror tool again, Now I need to find the exact middle, like here, and I don't have to draw it from the end. I could just draw it from, once it's a straight line in the center, and it just mirrors over here. Erase the source, no, and there we go. So this is the roof frame for hip roof, essentially, for the drawing. Um, what we can do, um, should I finish this first? Okay, let me just. Okay, so I've seen papers in the past, where CXC has, well, a paper in the past where the CXC had asked to just use single lines to draw the roof framing. Now they might actually ask you to do the proper roof framing, which means you have to show the thickness of the rafters and all this kind of stuff. Okay, and the lats and all of these things, and maybe even galvanize the different layers of the roof. Okay, I remember one exam they even asked to show half of the roof showing the framing and the other half just showing like the galvanized covering and all of that kind of stuff. All right, so we're not gonna go into all that, but I mean, you could use your imagination and figure out how that is gonna look. It's just a matter of drawing a line down the middle and then putting lines to represent the galvanized. Um, and then on this side, you would show all of the different, um, you know, rafters and ridge and all of the details like that. Okay, so if they ask you to do the drawing by just drawing one line to show the rafter framing, fine, then this is it. You just have to put in a little dimension for the roof from one end to the next and one end to the next, and then show the distance apart. And then you would just point on the different members. So you would point on this one and say, oh well, this is the hip hip jack rafter, this is a common rafter, this is the hip rafter, this is the ridge board, this is the fascia board, and you would put the dimensions also. Okay, 50 by 150 or whatever the case is. The fascia board 200 by 50, 50 by 200, sorry, etc. But if they want you to show the thickness, you could go ahead and do it just like this and then just offset. Okay, so consider these lines now center lines, and what you're going to do is offset equally on both sides to get the right thickness. So if the thickness is going to be 50 millimeters, and they would give you the specifications, 50 millimeters wide, you would say 25 on each side. So offset 25, and you would just do this, boom, boom, and that is our, and then we can delete the middle, and that is your rafter. Okay, and then for this would be your fascia board that goes all the way around the building, and the fascia board would be let's say 50 millimeters thick. So I'm gonna offset 50. It's not on both sides, only on the outside. So I'll do that all the way around for the fascia board, and then I would, fillet them just to join them up like so. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. If this makes any sense, hopefully it does. So yeah, you would offset 25 on each side, um, like that. Be careful, just be careful with when you're offsetting. Okay, you would offset like so, and then you would just go and delete all of the lines in the center, like so. All right. Now this is one way you can do it. So it won't take too long, hopefully. And as I said, all you need to do is just do that for everything, and then make sure to clean it up by doing some trimming and stuff like that. Because well, for this one, you can't really offset. If you offset, because offset only works well for linear, horizontal or vertical measurement distances, movements. But for this, you might have to copy the line and move it, that direction or that direction. Okay, so keep that in mind. So the best way to do it, I think, is to use the multi-line tool. Okay, yeah, so the best way to do it is to use the multi-line tool. And if you're not familiar, just use M-line, type M-line. um, and okay, so this is not where you actually get to the multi-line. This is where you set certain properties of the multi-line. And I'm not going to go into the details of this either. I have other videos where I've done this, um, and I've taught this in class. So at this point, you really should know this part, okay? All right. All right. So to get to the multi-line, what you want to do is type. We need to create the multi-line, and the multi-line does enable. It's a tool that enables you to draw two lines simultaneously. So rather than drawing one rafter, well, the line for the rafter and then offsetting on each side and all that kind of stuff to get the right thickness, we're going to just create the rafter with one line. So we're going to type M line style. I believe. Um, no, it's ML style. It's ML style. There it is. When you hit enter, you can see it has standard. This is how the standard looks. It gave us two lines already. We can create a new one and we're going to give it a name. We'll call this one rafters. And then hit. It's going to use the standard as a template. So we're going to start with standard, hit OK. And then we're going to call it rafters. I can't type today. That was one hand. All right. So if we notice up here, you have negative 0.5 going up, and well, negative 0.5 and then positive 0.5. So imagine there's a line in the middle, and then you go upwards 0.5, whatever units, millimeters, and then you go downwards 0.5. So it creates 1.5 in one direction and 0.5 in the next direction. That gives you a total of 1. Okay. The negative just mean in the downward direction. All right. So what we want to do is add a center line so you can really visualize it better. And then for this one, we want to change the offset. So remember the thickness of the rafter is going to be 50 millimeters or whatever CSEC gives you. Say 50 millimeters. So we want to split 50 millimeters evenly both sides, 25 on each side. So we want to go 25. And then for this one, yes, you guessed it, it's going to be negative 25 millimeters. All right. I could change the middle line to yellow just so that we could just tell it apart from the others. And then yeah, that looks like it's a hit. Okay, this is how it's going to look. And I'm going to hit set current. Now once you save this, set current, and get out, you cannot go back in and edit this rafter setting. All right, you have to create a new one altogether. So now that we've created the multi-line, I want to type line, hit enter. Now, first things first, we want to check the justification. And right now we can see the justification settings are top, 0, and bottom. If we have it at top right now, so if we draw a line, we can see. If we draw a line, we can see. Hold on, my bad. Yeah. So the line that I just created is gone. Let me try to create it again. Let me just pause the video and recreate it, just to save time. Alright, so I basically just did the same thing and now it's actually there, so I don't know why it happened like that the last time. Maybe you saw I did something and you didn't tell me, you just let me do it. So shame on you. Alright, so if I just type line, when I click, you can see it created the three lines, my one in the center And the center line for rafters are important because remember rafters are measured from center to center. So we need it so that we could separate them from the center um, equally. So notice because the justification is set to top, notice if I click on the line, all the three lines are here. The top line is my main line. Okay, so let me just do that again, and I change the justification to 0. 0 is our center. All right, so if I draw a line like this and I zoom in, look, this, now I change the justification to 0, center. And if I change the justification to bottom, then this one would be my main line. So when I'm doing my rafters, I want my center line, um, I want my center line to be my main line. So I'm going to make sure my justification is set to 0. And it's just a matter of clicking here, coming out to the end, like so. I'm going to end it. I'm going to do another one right here. Click there, end it, hit enter again just to reactivate the tool. Click here, um, like so. All right, so I'm not going to just continue, although you can continue. I'm not going to continue. I'm going to actually just keep stopping the tool and redrawing a new thing. Okay, so there you have the main parts of the roof. Next thing you want to do is put in the just like what we did over here, but using the multi-line tool. So it's just another line tool, but it draws multiple lines. All right, so let me just see M line. Well, we know that's what we're using. Keep the center here and carry it all the way out like so. End it, and then basically we're gonna copy it across just like what we did, and so on. But remember from the center to the center like that. All right, right, and then you just go on. You just keep going. You keep going on. Copying the making copies of the rafter, and then you could just trim it off like so. Okay, if there's a need to really get into the details of editing one of these lines, what you can do is just explode it because these three lines move as a single unit. So you could just hit the explode tool, and now you could select individually each line individually and manipulate them how you want. All right. Okay. So nextly, I just undid everything. The next thing you need to know about the multi-line tool is the multi-line edit, which enables you to, if I use the closed cross, which enables you to um, do that. So instead of trimming off the lines individually or trying to, get in there and trim them away, you have to use the edit tool, and it allows you to kind of join them um, together. You could join them with an open, but in this case, rafters, you need to show where one rafter stops and the other one continues, like so. But you should know all of this already, and you will just go ahead and do this um, for all of your rafters and so on. If your roof is symmetrical, you could do one side and then just mirror it over to the other side, and half the work is done. And finally, for the you could do this manually, or you could use the multi-line tool again. It's just to basically draw um, the line for the the fascia board around the house. Okay, so I can create another um, multi-line style, new. I'll use the standard. I'll call this one the fascia board. Um, this one, the fascia board is only going to be 50 millimeters, so it's the same um, 25 on one side. Make sure it's negative 25 on the other side. Okay. Um, we don't need a middle line for the fascia board. Just going to delete that. And then this is the one I'm going to set current. And yeah, so set that current. So now let's just use M line and justification. I want the bottom line to be my main line. So I'm going to click here and notice the bottom line is the main line, and then I can just click all the way around. I'm just going to just bend the corner like that and so on. Um, since I started here, I wonder if I could just use the C. Right, I hit C and enter. That means close, and it's going to close off the lines. All right. So there's my fascia board, and you can use the multi-line edit tool to clean this up. So this cut it off here like that. All right, and clean up the entire thing. Anyways, that's both ways you can approach the roof plan. So all you need to do now is just go to your dimensioning and you're going to point out everything. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm pointing on this one. I'll call this one 50 millimeters by 200 millimeters fascia board. Then I'll do, let's say, um, I'll point on the building and I'll call this one the building line. Okay, and then we're just gonna point out everything. So this right here, we can point out multiple. So this, I'll call this 50 millimeters by 150 millimeter hip jack rafters. And then I can use this and add a leader. So I want to add a leader to this one and then point to another one, maybe point to even three of them like so, and hit escape. So all of these are 50 millimeter by 150 millimeter hip jack rafters. I still need to point out my hip rafter, so I can point this one out right here. Um, so this is also, so let's say 50 millimeter. Now CSEC might give you all these specifications, 50 millimeters by 150 millimeters. Um, hip rafter. Um, you can always adjust it after. It's not a big deal. What else? We need to have one pointing at the ridge board. Let me point to the ridge board from here. So let me see here. I'll say 50. Now she actually would give you all the measurements, I believe, in the specification. 750 ridge board. What else? We have the hip jack. We have the hip, the building line. that we can show the overhang. So we can draw a line um, from here to there, and then we can point to that line and say um, point to that line and say 450 millimeter overhang. All right. So we basically pointing out. Remember, the purpose of this is to let the builders know, everything that they need to know to build this thing properly. What else? Okay, that's that. So let's go to some dimensions. Let's do from here to there. Let's pull it out. Don't do no big dimensioning like that. Do that, and then another one like so. Make sure it looks similar to the one over there. Alright, so the one over there is not so far, not so close. Maybe that's good. Alright, cool. So we need to show how far apart the rafters are. So what we would do is just probably do like, let's say we had the center line here for this one. What we can do is something like this. We would draw the dimension line from the center to center, bring it out like that, and do that. Okay, so we would have that over here, but we would need our center lines in order to do that. I already deleted them, but I guess I shouldn't have. But even if I did, I could still create back center lines by doing this. Click there, and boom, I have center lines using the center line center line tool, and then I can just do this like so. All right. So this tells us, oh, the rafters are 600 millimeters apart from center to center. These are the different rafters on the house. These are the overall dimension of the roof. This is the overhang, and etc. 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 Finally, all we need is just a title at the bottom, CP, um, and put it down there like so. And we'll call this roof plan of office building, like so. Um, yeah. So yeah, that's it for this video. Pretty long-winded, I guess, but I guess there were some things that were unavoidable since I wanted to explain both ways. All right. So in the next video, we'll do what's left. Let's do some elevations, and then we'll finish it off with the sectional. All right. See you in the next one.